Hello guys, gonna do this very quick. Nope, something's wrong, it's on. Let's do this very quick. Booleans and conditionals. How do conditional statements and logical operators, oh my god, it's water. Can this? Actually, how do conditional statements and logical operators work? Conditional statements or conditionals let you control the flow of your program based on whether certain conditions are true or false. But before we get into all that, let's go over the basic building blocks of conditional statements, starting with comparison operators. Comparison operators are operators that let you compare two or more values and return a Boolean value. In previous lesson, you learned that Booleans are one of the data types in Python and can only be true or false. Equal, not equal, greater, less, greater or equal, less, okay. That evaluates true and false. These operators, these, if conditions pass, execute if condition is true. If statement starts with if. Keyword condition is an expression that evaluates the true or false by a colon here, not a semicolon. Oh, that's for loop, okay. As an expression that was followed by a colon. The body of the if statement constitutes a code block, which is a group of statements that belong together. Then the level of indentation, this is important, the indentation is what defines a code block. In the example above, the body of if statement contains a pass statement. When a pass statement, if condition pass code to execute if condition is true, is executed. When a pass is executed, nothing happens. This is a special key. It can be used as a placeholder for further code, and it's useful when empty code blocks are not allowed. The code within the body, so this, you just put this just as a placeholder. The code within the body of the if statement runs only condition evaluates true. For example, if age, no parentheses, okay. Print you are an adult. You are an adult. Okay, the hash is a comment. Notice the indentation before print. You are an adult. Before this is the indentation. While other programming languages use characters like curly braces to define code blocks and just use indentation for readability, in Python code blocks are determined by indentation. This is confusing in Python. The following code will raise an indentation error, which is Python way to signal the indentation is required at a certain point of the code. You see, if age print, there have to be spaces. An indented block after if statement on the line 3. block of indentation. Though you can use any number of spaces as long as you are consistent to determine each level of indentation. The Python style guide recommends using four spaces, okay. Blocks are also found in loops and functions, which you will learn about in future lessons. Going back to our example, if age is anything less than 18, nothing is printed in the terminal. Four spaces, okay. But what if you also want to print something if age is less than 18? That's where else clause come. Else, for example, else, and there is else if age, print else, okay, because there is no indentation. The else is correct, but the indentation here, valid syntax, else, syntax error, invalid in syntax. There have to be, wait, for what seems to be the one. Note that you cannot place any statements between if block and the else clause. And code would rise a syntax error. Okay, yes, because this else is no longer connected to this if because of the print. That's making a new block because of the indentation. Again, the indentation. If this is where four spaces away, okay. There might be situations in which you want to account for multiple conditions. To do that, Python lets you extend else if, elif, elif. You don't write else if like JavaScript. Elif, else. Okay, okay. Note that you can use as many elf as you want. Okay. Now you understand how comparison and work in Python. You can start writing programs that make decisions based on logic and input, whether you're comparing values or branching through multiple conditions. These tools are the foundation to writing flexible, responsive code. What do comparisons operators do? Okay, compare two values and return. Create loops, no, two values and return a boolean value. What will be the result of the following code? If age equal 12, if age, okay, if age, okay, else you are a child, what will the expression 3 larger or equal than 4 evaluates to false? It's not, okay. What are true and false values, and how do Boolean operators and short circuiting work? In the previous lesson, you learned how to use comparison operators and conditional statements to control the flow of your programs. In the previous lesson, you learned how to use comparison operators to control the flow. While those are very powerful, you will often run into situations where you need to compare multiple values at once. This can lead to now we're into and or. Okay. So the above will first check if since age is greater than or equal the terminal where false, then the message printed. Naturally, if you are working with more complex conditions, you can use Python and or and not operators. But before we dive into this, let's take a look through the in Python. Every value has an inherent Boolean value or a built-in sense of whether it should be treated as true or false. In a logical context, many values are considered truly, that is, they evaluate to true in a logical context. Others are falsy, meaning they evaluate to false. Are falsy values, none, false, integer zero, float, empty strings. Okay, these are false. Other values like non-zero numbers and non-empty strings are true. If you want to check whether a value is true or false, bool function is okay. Bool, false, bool. Okay. Now that you understand true and false values, we can take a look at Boolean operators, which are also known as logical operators. These are special operators that allow you to combine multiple expressions more. Okay, now we're into AND or not. Let's first take a look at AND operator. AND operator, and it's AND, simply AND. You just wait. Here's an example, and age. In the above example, the number 25 is printed to the terminal because the AND operator will evaluate the second operand if the first operand is true. And the AND operator is known as a short circuit. Short circuit means Python checks values from left to right and stops as soon as the final results. And age. So we will often use AND within if statements to check if multiple conditions are met. Here's how refactor. Yep, this is what you used to. If is citizen and age is large. So this is like and. Okay. Is citizen because it's true. Okay. Now let's take a look at the or 19. False. Doesn't matter. Age is 19 or following code will print the number 19 because the first is true. If you need to check what is true, then you can. Operator or students, either one is true, just print. In this case, age is less than 18 is false, but a student is true since at least one condition is true. Type or expressions evaluate to true, and the discount message in the if block is printed. This is important. Type or expression evaluated to true, since at least one condition is true. So the last operator will look at as the not operator, not true, not false, not, so not, just print not. It's common operator. It's false since is admin. It's false. Not is admin is saying not false. Okay, what will the following code output? Age 20 as ticket true if age is larger or equal 18 and has ticket. It will print you can watch the movie. You can watch the movie. Okay. Which of the following is not considered a false value? Wait. I guess this one. Because false values, well, they are all false values. There are a few false values. What are you talking about? It's not considered a false value in Python. What are you talking? False. You know why this false? Because of the string, because of the quotation. The quotation makes it a string, not a boolean anymore. Without the quotation, it will be false. it will be considered as a false value. But because of the quotation, which makes it a string, it's gonna be a string which is true, not an empty string, which is true, not falsy. Truly is gonna be what happens when Python evaluates the expression x or y. It returns, no, it returns if it's a value. No, it always evaluates both. It returns false if either x. Nope. It returns x only if both. Nope. Returns x if it evaluates. Skip. Nope. This is not how I understood it. Returns x only if both x and y evaluates true. No. If one of them is true, the whole statement is true, regardless of their values. It always evaluates both x and y regardless of their values. It returns false if either x or y is false. Either. I don't think so. I will go with this, but it evaluates the true and skips evaluating y. I think so. Yep. Okay. Stay tuned because we're gonna do the last bit, which is Python workshop, I guess. Should we include it in this video or make it a video by its own? I don't know. Workshop, build a movie ticket. That's 21. I guess I'm gonna include it in this. Nah, do video by its own.